Hello and welcome to this edition of GCS Today here on Channel 21, the program that brings you news and information from Gaston County Schools. I'm Todd Hagans. On today's edition, Superintendent Booker is with us to look back at 2017 and look ahead to 2018. Plus, we have a preview of the 10th Annual Gaston Regional Science and Engineering Fair. Joining me on GCS Today is Superintendent Booker. And Mr. Booker, we are talking about 2017 and looking ahead to 2018. So let's look at 2017 and some of the things that took place this year for Gaston County Schools. What's the first thing that stands out in your mind?
I think the first thing is just the community's commitment overall, and that's no greater evidence than the brand new school at Pleasant Ridge Elementary. To replace a school that was over 70 years old and put a state-of-the-art building there, and to be at that grand opening and just have capacity crowds touring the school, and then all the activity that's gone on since then, that's just been a highlight of 2017.
You can really see in that community the buzz, I guess you could say, that school has created, and to have that great facility, a lot of excitement in the Pleasant Ridge community.
Yeah, and I think that excitement, Todd, spills over from the fact that we're offering choice to folks. When you look at Pleasant Ridge, over 800 students in that school, and 200 of them are there through choice options, and they're coming from all over the county to occupy that. And so we offered that opportunity in 2017. And another thing we did in 2017 was the virtual middle school. And that's gotten off to a good success. We've got 27 students that are using that option, others exploring it, and that's more opportunity for people to say, this is how I want the school system to serve me.
Yes, you had those two additional school choice options in 2017 with the Gifted and Talented Academy at Pleasant Ridge, and now that virtual academy for middle school. And we'll have more coming down the road.
We are proposing, and that'll be part of, as you look forward to 2018, and particularly 1920 is when a lot of that will roll out. We'll be talking to the public more about that. But also as you talk about 2017, let's don't forget it was Hawks Nest completing operation, getting its first assessment scores back, showing that a total countywide elementary school could provide great education and the project-based learning that was going on there. So a lot of excitement still in that magnet program that we're offering.
Now you mentioned test scores, and we saw some increases in our test scores in the overall student proficiency, and we also saw our graduation rate increase again. Yeah,
our graduation rate continued to rise. And we're approaching that 90% mark as a district, and we had a number of schools over 90%, and that is a great target for us as a district. And we also saw our proficiency rise by 3 percentage points. And we're continuing to strive to get that percentage up. But what all of the things that was really important when you look at our scores is you can look at those one-time numbers, but really is the growth that our children are showing. Over 82% of our children either met or exceeded growth in the performance from last spring. So that's a great overall measure of how our schools are doing.
Until we talk about the graduation rate and going into the class of 2017 rate, we thought, well, when is it going to level off? And we saw it go up again this year. So that was a great thing for us. Now, if looking back at 2017, if you had to pick out maybe some significant honors that we have received this year, what comes to your mind?
Well, this isn't necessarily a direct honor, but we pursued with Gaston College and the county a Golden Leaf Grant. And it was for our career and technical education program and advanced manufacturing in specific, because the college has developed a whole facility for that. We need to develop students that can matriculate there. And so we sought that grant, and we were successful. And it's the first time the community has gotten a Golden Leaf Grant in a long time. And so that's allowed both Bessemer City and Hunter House High School to have advanced manufacturing classes. And we have over 170 students enrolled this year in that. So that was one of the first things that I think about as a neat accomplishment. And also when you talk about our career and technical education, we have been very fortunate that the business community came 3 years ago. We had a blue ribbon committee, and just a little sidebar, I'll tell you, the state thought so much of it, they've now mandated that every county must have a committee like that. And it's really modeled off of what we did here, and it's great. So our committee will continue its operation, and what they said was we need to see more in the middle schools. So we have added robotics to our middle schools. We have a day where all the 8th graders are out in businesses, and so businesses partner, open their doors. You think about it, Todd, over 2,000 8th graders spread throughout the community on one day. That's a big accomplishment, but it also lets them know and see what it looks like, because many of them grew up in families that were exposed to manufacturing, but it was a different type of manufacturing than today. So that was a highlight. And staying on career and technical education, do you recognize that while we're the 9th largest school system in the state of North Carolina, when you talk about credentialing, the acknowledgments of what children learn in career and technical education, and they're assessed on that, they have to pass some form of test, that we are in the top 5 in the state for the number of credentialing. So we compete and in fact beat some of the much larger districts with the credentialing. So overall, I think that's one of the highlights that just goes on and continues to serve today. And I'm sorry, I'll just keep talking, because we've got graduates that have done phenomenal things. This past year we had 2 students going to Ivy League schools on their invitation, the Ivy League pursuing them and saying, we want you enough, we'll pay for you to come be a part of our community. So we had a child at Brown University and Princeton University.
And so that really is on a national scale, having those students into those Ivy League schools. I think if we look back to 2017, if 10 years from now we think back to 2017, probably one of the things that we're going to think about the most will be the National Blue Ribbon School Award for the Highland School of Technology.
Yes, 17 years of outstanding performance by Highland School of Technology, and it's won numerous awards. But to be recognized by the National Blue Ribbon says you are the best among the best. Only 6 schools in the state of North Carolina will receive that recognition this year, and just a little over 300 in the whole nation to get it. And so what also is impressive is some schools got that recognition because they've done a one time, we raised this achievement, this, but Highland was recognized for its overall student performance, and that every student in every demographic group showed significant growth and performance. And that's a big feather in the cap of Highland School of Technology.
Now we keep hearing this name, Bobby Kavnar. He has completed his year as the State Teacher of the Year, but he continues to receive recognition. And one of his, one recognition, he's in the running for the National Award for Teaching Excellence.
Yes, he's made the final 5, and we're waiting to hear.
We find out in February if he is the recipient of that. And you know, there are probably many others that stand out in your mind. I think about, we had a Battle of the Books championship team, we had national recognition in financial literacy, and we had the 2 Bloomie Awards for fine arts.
Yes, we had Stuart W. Kramer's performance was recognized as the best in the region, and some of their performers were recognized. We have 2 students that are actually traveling to New York with Bloomie, one from Hunter Huss and one from Stuart W. Kramer. They both get to go to Broadway in New York City. When you also talk about accomplishments, don't forget Bessemer City had a state track championship, 2nd year in a row, 4 girls won in track. So numerous athletic accomplishments like that. Cheerleading, continue to have state champions out of Cherryville High School. So there are a lot of positives that go on. So it's a comprehensive education that is going on in Gaston County, and it's a lot to be excited about.
Now we turn our attention to 2018, the year that is ahead of us. And probably the first thing on our list for 2018 is Stanley Middle School. Talk about what's going on in Stanley.
Well, a lot of activity has been going on in Stanley right behind the school, just like at Pleasant Ridge, school being constructed right behind it, students involved in watching it, teachers getting to take tours. But now it's coming down to the time where everything's coming together. And over the break between semesters, the school will transfer into the new school, and on January 28th, we'll have a grand opening inviting the whole community to join us to see this brand new state-of-the-art middle school. And it's exciting to see. I was in the building just the other day and watching it come together, the furnishings that will be in there. It'll be something that the whole community can take pride in.
And there will also be a school choice option in Stanley?
That gets into talking about, as you start looking forward to 18, 19, 20, we're going to offer more expanded choice, and part of that will be the Hawks Nest STEAM Academy. Folks have always said, well, where were the fifth graders? Then this will be the first class of fifth graders coming out. Stanley Middle School will be an option because it will have a STEAM Academy as part of it. So there will be seats there designated for countywide options for people to select to go to Stanley Middle School.
Now, since you became superintendent, you have had areas, focus areas, and I think that when we look into 2018, we're going to continue the focus on academics and safety, on community involvement and customer service, technology, our facilities. Those areas are still going to be important as we move forward.
Yes, and what's really great is the way our elected bodies are working together. Great support from the townships through when you talk about safety, the law enforcement that patrols our schools and supports the resource officer program that we have with the Gaston County Police, and then the support that each of the local municipalities give to that. And then as you look forward to and talk about buildings, the county commissioners have committed to putting a bond issue on the ballot in May. So that'll be a big thing that we'll be looking forward to, and that will be asking to build another middle school, another elementary school, and to start doing some repairs and renovations at some of our older schools. And in doing that, Ty, we'll be looking at these choice options and preparing that, because when you talk about Stanley, the next thing that we've talked about is, well, those kids will be coming out of that middle school, where will they go? And we're looking at East Gaston and having a magnet component at East Gaston for those children to feed into. Now, you don't have to go through that. You could still apply from other middle schools and go to East Gaston, but we'll be looking at that. We talked earlier about the advanced manufacturing grant that we received. Well, we want to expand that program and talk about all of trade and industry. And so we're looking at Bessemer City High School being a trades and industry. We've seen phenomenal success at Hunter Huss. You know, Hunter Huss just recently, and when we're talking about credentialing and career and technical education, had almost double the credentials of Highland that were done. So it's amazing what's gone on with the Career Academy there. So we're seeing that folks want to have more input in their education choices, and we're going to expand that as we go forward.
Now, when we look to 2018, the biggest thing that may be happening for our school district is the 50th anniversary of Gaston County Schools.
Yeah, Celebrate Gaston has been our theme for the last year as we're building up to the 50th anniversary. And we're excited about it, and it'll be great to do a look back and then to talk about what we're launching forward, which is part of what we talked about with the expansion of all the choices that as we come into. So 18 will be building that for 19 to be, and as we enter our 51st year, celebrating that and saying, here we go into our next 50 years.
And that big celebration, we will officially kick off that celebration in August with the back to school convocation for our employees, 50 years. And that 50 years represents the consolidation of the Gaston County schools with Cherville City and Gastonia City schools. So a big celebration, 50 years for Gaston County schools in 2018. We've got a lot to look forward to, don't we?
It's going to be an exciting, we've had some great performance in 17, but I believe 18 will offer opportunities to be even greater.
Superintendent Booker, thanks so much for joining us here on GCS Today.
Thank you, Tom.
You are watching GCS Today here on Channel 21. We will be right back.
Everything starts out small. The things that hurt us, they all start from somewhere. The words we say, the things we do, they can grow into something else. What was small and innocent can become big and sometimes scary. All it takes is one comment, one picture, one video for something to catch fire. But a big problem doesn't need a big response. Not at first. Even if we don't know what to say, the eye emoji can be that first step we take. Let's all pledge to take that first small step together and change the world in a big way. I'm a witness, and so are you.
Joining me on GCS Today is Bianca Yavelak. She is a science curriculum facilitator for Gaston County Schools and is the coordinator for the Gaston Regional Science and Engineering Fair.
That's me.
And that's what we're talking about today. Tell
Yes.
us about the Science and Engineering Fair.
The Gaston Regional Science Engineering Fair, which we call GRSEF, is an opportunity for our students, grades 4 through 12, to complete an independent research project and bring it and share it. So it's a good opportunity for the kids to practice scientific method, to learn science content skills, but also to practice communication and writing and interview skills and just real world applications of what they're learning in the classroom.
Okay, so a student they come up with a project. It's based on what you're learning and you're involved with in the classroom. So
Usually.
they develop a project. What does that involve? Because they just don't show up on Science Fair Day and have all of these things to display.
No. It's actually a very lengthy process. So in mid-October-ish, they submit a research proposal. It has to go through a safety review because we want to make sure that kids aren't doing things that could be potentially harmful to them or to other people, and also things that they can fit within the span of the time frame. So we have a 1 semester-ish time frame. So they submit to us, we do a safety review, and then once they're approved, they work either on their own or in a small group or in their classroom to collect the data. And then if they choose to compete, then they register in December, and then they show up in January with their projects ready to go. And they are supposed to come with a project board to present. They write a paper, an official paper, and then their interview process where they stand and tell the world what they've done.
So they have to present to judges.
Yes.
The projects are evaluated by judges. So they have to not only have the research and conduct the experiment, that have the paper, and then they have to be able to talk about it.
They do. They have anywhere from 3 to 5 judges. We have some special awards, and then we have just our general judging. They judge one-on-one, so it's not like they have to stand in front of a huge audience and talk, but they do have to have a one-on-one conversation. And we have amazing judges. We have educators, we have professors from local universities, we have professional scientists, lots of community partners who come in and offer their time for the day and to talk to the kids. And I think they get as much out of it as the kids do sometimes.
Now, this is a special year because it's the 10th anniversary.
It is.
How, and you've been involved from the very beginning. You started as a teacher. I
did. I was a teacher the first year that we started it. And I was excited to try something new in the classroom, and so I kind of jumped in head first as a teacher, and then eventually became part of the leadership team. And then as I transitioned into the curriculum position, I also kind of took the reins for Science Fair. But this is our 10th anniversary, and I don't think we had any idea when we started that it would still be this big and growing 10 years down the road.
Now, how has the Science and Engineering Fair benefited students over the past 10 years?
So much. We have had approximately 2,000 students complete projects over the course of the last 10 years. Lots of those students I still have contact with, and some of them are in med school, and some of them are professional researchers, and we have several who are Gaston County Schools teachers who have come back, who are even doing it with their students, so they're kind of pushing it forward as a project in their own classroom. I've talked to students who complete these projects and have competed at Gaston County level and then regional state level competitions, who go off to college and already have the skills to do research and to write the papers and to communicate, and they feel like that more than the content has pushed them ahead of their counterparts at the university level.
So I guess the Science Fair really helps bring science and engineering and technology and math and other subject areas. It makes those subjects real for students.
We push Science Fair and any sort of independent research in the classroom as authentic learning experiences. So it's not something that you have to learn because it's going to be on a test, and it's not something that you have to learn because, you know, it's a vocabulary word. It's something that you're choosing to learn and something that you're putting in context of the world around you, which is something you never forget. So I'm sure, and I would hate to test them on the street, but I'm sure there are students that have competed in the past that I could ask them about their project and they could still tell me what they did and how they did it and what they got out of it.
So it's got that research component, that critical thinking, the problem solving, and then the presentation, the communication skills.
Yes.
And you can see how all of those areas are so important beyond the classroom.
Yes, absolutely. And that's one of the reasons we're so excited to be branching down towards elementary school. So the last 3 years, we've started bringing in elementary projects, and this year we have more than we've ever had. We're looking at anticipating close to 50 elementary projects to see 4th and 5th graders learning those skills and exhibiting those skills, and just being able to stand and talk face to face with an adult for a 10-minute interview or a 5-minute interview. It's really kind of cool to watch them grow through that.
So when it started, it was high school only.
High school only.
So now we're seeing middle school and
4th and 5th grade.
in the past couple of
Yes.
years, the elementary school really
Yeah.
taken interest in
Yeah.
science fair. Now, what do you think has changed the most over 10 years?
I think when we first started, a lot of the students who did it were being forced to do it. And science fair started in the county as this big idea under this umbrella of shifting the culture of how we think about teaching science and how we think about learning science in Gaston County. Now it has become, for a lot of places where it's become ingrained in the culture of the school, it's an expectation. So the students think about it during the summer and they come in knowing what they want to do. And I get emails all summer long from students across the county like, would this be okay if I started this? Or do you know anybody who can mentor me through this project? Or, you know, it's amazing to watch them take that initiative and to grow into that. We're trying to keep up. You know, we have a lot of really great community partners. We run on a grant through FMC Lithium in Bessemer City, which they are really wonderful, and they have given us money to kind of help us grow and reach out and bring students along the way.
So the science fair is in January.
It is.
What do you expect from this year's science fair?
Oh, there's always these big expectations. This year I'm looking forward to seeing students from a wider range of schools and grade levels. So we have several schools who are doing it for the first time, and I'm super excited for them to be there and to experience it. Just having them all in one place, the energy in that room is just amazing. And so to watch them grow and maybe plant that seed of years to come. And, you know, I mean, we always have students who compete at the regional level, and I really don't want to jinx myself, but this will be the 10th year, and so we've always had students compete at the state level as well. And we usually bring home some things from state level. It's been a couple years since...
And we had an international
We
award
have had
winner
several,
a couple
yes.
of years ago, I remember. So,
Yes, we've competed 4 different international events, and we have brought home awards from 2 of them. So that would be wonderful to take students, again. So fingers crossed that maybe we get to travel a little bit this spring. It'll be nice.
Great. Well, we're looking forward to a great science and engineering fair this year, the 10th anniversary.
10th anniversary.
And we'll be back at the Show Museum.
We will be at the Show Museum. It's a 3-day event this year because we're kind of separating some things out to celebrate a little longer, keep the party going. But it will be huge, and I'm really excited.
Bianca Yavelak, thanks so much
thanks so much for
everything
having me.
that you do for the Science
Thank
Fair,
you.
and we're looking forward to a great one as we celebrate the 10th anniversary.
Thank you very much. I hope to see you there.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We appreciate you being with us here on GCS Today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching GCS Today. Stay tuned to Channel 21 for the latest school news and information. We look forward to seeing you next time.